It was a clear, blue morning in New York City. The sun rose over Manhattan, casting golden light on the towers that defined its skyline, the World Trade Center. For millions, September 11, 2001, began like any other day. Commuters rushed to work. Children went to school. Flights took off as usual. No one knew that within hours, the world would change forever. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11, a Boeing 767 carrying 92 people, crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. The impact tore a gaping hole through the building. Fire and smoke filled the sky. At first, people thought it was a terrible accident, but then, 17 minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 struck the South Tower. The world watched live on television as the second plane hit, and in that moment, it became clear. This was no accident. America was under attack. Inside the towers, chaos and heroism unfolded side by side. Thousands of office workers tried to escape the inferno, while firefighters, police officers, and paramedics ran toward the flames. The stairwells were filled with people helping one another, strangers becoming brothers and sisters in the face of horror. Over 400 emergency responders would never come back. They knew the risk, and they went in anyway. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., another plane, American Airlines Flight 77, turned toward the nation's capital. At 9:37 a.m., it crashed into the Pentagon, ripping through the heart of America's military command. Thick black smoke billowed above the building. By now, the entire country was in shock. Airports were shut down. Every plane still in the air was ordered to land immediately. But one more aircraft remained in the sky, United Airlines Flight 93. On board Flight 93, passengers learned through phone calls what had happened in New York and Washington. They realized their plane was part of the same plot. They decided to fight back. Using courage that would echo through history, they stormed the cockpit. At 10:03 a.m., Flight 93 crashed into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, missing its intended target, believed to be the White House or the U.S. Capitol. Everyone on board was killed, but their sacrifice saved countless others. Back in New York, both towers were burning. Firefighters climbed higher, trying to reach those trapped above the impact zones. People waved from windows, desperate for rescue. Some made heartbreaking choices, leaping from the towers to escape the flames. Then, at 9:59 a.m., the South Tower began to fall. In just 10 seconds, the 110-story skyscraper collapsed into a cloud of dust and ash. At 10:28 a.m., the North Tower followed. The Twin Towers, symbols of American strength and progress, were gone. The skyline of New York was changed forever. The streets below were filled with darkness, concrete, debris, and silence. People ran covered in ash, dazed and crying. Firefighters searched through the ruins, calling out names into the dust. What remained of the World Trade Center was now a mountain of twisted steel. Ground zero. Nearly 3,000 people had been killed that morning. Men, women, children, from over 90 countries. It was the deadliest terrorist attack in human history. In the hours and days that followed, the world stood still. Air travel stopped, stock markets closed, television networks broadcast the same haunting images, smoke rising, people fleeing, the towers falling again and again. President George W. Bush addressed the nation that night, calling the attacks evil, despicable acts of terror. The world had entered a new era. The war on terror had begun. Across America, grief turned to unity. Flags flew from every home. Vigils lit the night in every city. Firefighters and volunteers from across the country traveled to Ground Zero to help search for survivors. In the rubble, they worked for months, finding fragments of lives, small symbols of hope among the devastation. The air was thick with dust, but also with determination. The nation vowed never to forget. Soon, intelligence agencies began piecing together what had happened. The attacks were orchestrated by Al-Qaeda. a terrorist network led by Osama bin Laden. 19 hijackers had boarded 4 planes that morning, turning them into weapons of destruction. Their goal: to strike at the heart of America's economy, military, and democracy. They succeeded in bringing down buildings, but they could not break America's spirit. In October 2001, the United States launched Operation Enduring Freedom, invading Afghanistan to destroy al-Qaeda and remove the Taliban regime that harbored them. The war would last 2 decades, changing global politics and countless lives. The world tightened airport security, reshaped immigration laws, and entered a new age of surveillance and caution. Travel, freedom, and fear were never the same again. Years passed. Ground Zero became a place of memory and mourning. In 2011, 10 years after the attacks, U.S. Navy SEALs located and killed Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. For many, it was justice. But for the families who lost loved ones, no victory could bring back what was lost. Today, a memorial stands where the towers once rose. 2 vast reflecting pools mark the footprints of the North and South Towers. Every name, every victim is engraved in bronze. The sound of falling water fills the air, a symbol of endless remembrance. Above it all stands One World Trade Center, a tower of glass and light reaching 1,176 feet into the sky, a symbol of resilience and rebirth. September 11, 2001, was more than a day of tragedy. It was a turning point in human history. It showed us the depths of cruelty, but also the heights of courage. It revealed how fragile life is and how strong the human spirit can be. From the ashes of that morning rose unity, compassion, and an unshakable promise. We will never forget. The world we live in today, our security, our politics, our fears, all trace their roots to that morning. A morning when the sky was clear, the world was ordinary, and in a single moment, everything changed. This was 9/11, the day that changed the world.